Good.
We're back, baby. We're back.
Courtesy of Meek Mill's AI company, audio solutions for those that need it.
Yeah.
There we go. I mean, let's jump in. So, Ahmed, you're the co-founder and CEO of KYD Labs, which is building a ticketing and loyalty platform for the live events industry of tomorrow. So, wondering if you're at Ticketmaster, Live Nation, Vivid Seats, you have a bunch of industry experience. So, wondering if you could just kick this off by painting a picture of the current state of the ticketing industry to set the convo up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think most people misunderstand ticketing as just an e-commerce industry where, you buy tickets, fans check out, when in fact it's not. Ticketing companies are banks, and ticketing is one of the world's largest debt-based industries. And I'll give you guys some color here, right? When an artist goes on tour like Justin Bieber and he's going on a 40, 50 stadium tour across the US, or Taylor Swift is, they get paid up front, and that's a debt obligation. So that money is typically given through like Ticketmaster or Live Nation, which is the promoter, and they effectively have to finish the tour in order to fully realize that upfront capital, whether it be 50, $60 million. So whenever you see, oh, Taylor Swift sold $1 billion in tickets, reality might actually be she only got $100 to $200 million that show, and Ticketmaster made $1 billion in ticket sales because of that upfront capital need. So, at KID, we focus on two main things. Is one, we have a great ticketing platform that helps venues sell more tickets, helps artists sell more tickets. But on the other hand, we tackle the real issue for artists and creators today, which is sustainable financing. Like when an artist goes on tour, it's expensive. When a venue produces a show, it's expensive. At scale, it's very capital intensive, and they don't realize revenue until tickets are actually shown and sold happen. So we have that piece where people like yourselves can deposit USDC and earn from fees from artists and venues creating shows and financing tours. And we're proud to say that it's a lucrative model, and it can provide yields that are probably some of the best in Solana from helping produce culture.
Can you maybe put a finer point on, I guess, the stickiness of Ticketmaster within this industry? Because I think for decades, artists have hated them, venues have hated them, yet no one's been able to unseat them. Like, why is that specifically?
It's because they got $6.5 billion in debt. And most people misunderstand Ticketmaster and assume it's like a BlackRock where they own all the stadiums in the world, when in fact they don't. They have these long-term deals where they provide upfront capital, like say, hey, Madison Square Garden, here's this debt facility. We'll give you 6% of your future sales. You're going to have to use Ticketmaster for 8 years, and we'll charge your customers the interest rate. So every time you bought that Taylor Swift ticket and fees are astronomical, you're actually paying an interest rate for a music venue or for an artist based on the loan they've taken from Ticketmaster. So we directly tack that challenge, right? I think a lot of, I'll be candid here. There's a graveyard of Web3 ticketing companies that have just tried to solve the fan issue and say, hey, we're going to stop resale. We're going to stop, we're going to make it easier for preventing fraud. That shit doesn't fucking work. You got to tackle the supply side, which is, venues and stadiums need that debt facility, and they need a ticketing platform that gives them their data so they can sell tickets in the 21st century. And that's, we found a lot of success doing that. We've sold over $4 million in tickets just in the past 6 months for creators, and deployed over, $2 million in the past year and a half. This is the model. Artists and venues need debt, and I think there's no better place than crypto to provide that debt and redistribute the value to lenders and creditors.
Okay, so I guess I was one of those people who was looking at this as a monopoly play of monopolizing the venues. Maybe not from an ownership perspective, but I definitely would not have said that Ticketmaster is a bank. And so that's fascinating to me. So maybe can you walk us through maybe in a bit? So the right mental model here is like DeFi rips out the banking side of Ticketmaster, and you see that as a huge opportunity. So can you get us into some detail? Like, how are you doing that? What is a good example maybe that you could walk us through?
Yeah, there's a good example. If you look at Athena today, you park your USDC there, you generate yield, and Athena is a hedge fund, it's trading, right? You just rip out that hedge fund portion and you just swap it for a ticketing platform that's generating fees. Typically you need to provide 6% of a deal value, which is like the deal that you're doing with the venue or tour for anticipated sales. And lenders can receive 1% of that total deal value up front, which is anywhere between 17 to 20% in yield. And that's just from financing a tour. Most people assume that the record label industry with artist royalties and Universal Music and Atlantic Records giving these artists these 360 deals any different than touring? It's the exact same. Music labels are are private equity firms in disguise, and Ticketmaster effectively is the same. It's a debt provider. It's just packaging payday loans to artists and venues and making a massive spread there.
Ticketmaster is a fintech. Fascinating. Okay, so I think when we chatted last, you were kind of walking me through how we're going to market with this, and so help us understand how you've sort of approached taking on this behemoth. What is the go-to-market strategy here?
You need to get a good therapist right away. That's numero uno. And I think,
AI app, baby. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, 100%, 100%. Like I said before, the prerequisite to being a good AI founder is being a Philadelphia battle rapper. But this is why Web3 ticketing is really fucking hard. You have to hit the ground running. You have to build confidence in the mid-market with venues. You need to do the B2B SaaS approach that is not sexy. You have to be working with venues like for us, Le Poisson Rouge, the Brooklyn Monarch, Hollow. These were a hard one. I had to go in, build trust. And even with my Ticketmaster background, we had to build a product and build case studies to get to the stage we're at where, they're signing deals with us instead of Dice or Ticketmaster. So all in all to say, it sucks. It fucking sucks, we got to the point where we hit a flywheel. Once you have, a large venue customer that works and they're seeing gains, you're going to start seeing that snowball effect of, hey, who are these new guys? Can they give me better debt financing options than Ticketmaster? Oh, wait, I'm getting my data and my emails. Like, that's a sacrifice that these companies, these venues and artists have to make. They get this upfront capital, but they lose out on basic information around, their artists, about their fans. So when you hear, Travis or Justin Bieber saying, hey, I don't know who my fans are, I don't have their emails from 20 years of touring, and Live Nation's using that to basically sell tickets for another artist, that's a reality, right? And Kid makes that accessible from the platform side. So when I look at it, and to answer your question succinctly here, it's ticketing is really fucking hard. Like Visa and MasterCard in the 90s, they had to go to every single merchant and explain to people, hey, you should use our stuff and it's going to make it more accessible. It's the same trench warfare you got to do when you're starting off a Kid.
And with these early venues you're talking to, are you able to offer competitive terms on the financing side versus what they would get with Ticketmaster? Or are they just so sick of their kind of monopoly that they're willing to kind of net some trade-offs to kind of get their data, et cetera?
Absolutely. The reality is you can't sell a show or you can't do basic e-commerce if you don't have your emails. You don't know who you're marketing to. So, the biggest issue we see in the music industry is people are lighting money on fire trying to reach their customers. There's been thousands of crypto startups that try to solve that issue alone, right? So that within itself is already a compelling value prop. Now having the liquidity and meeting their liquidity needs, that's where you get your real unlock here, right? If you look at the entrenchedness of Ticketmaster, it actually comes from the fact that they have so much capital they've amassed over 30 years servicing this business and built up a balance sheet. We can challenge that monopoly by using on-chain liquidity. And I think that's where it gets interesting. Imagine being able to earn competitive yields from your favorite shows, from your favorite festivals, and not only there, but go to them and say, hey, I made money being here. That's pretty fucking cool. It's yield with a cultural impact. And that's what I think the real unlock with crypto is for industries like the music industry. It's giving venues, artists the autonomy and ability to control their futures while also having a massive decentralized impact from their success.
So I'm curious, maybe two ways to ask this question, how tokens come into this. Obviously, you're talking about liquidity, and maybe from a more self-centered point of view, I am an on-chain capital provider. How do I get to come in and participate in KID?
One, you got to be an accredited investor, because my lawyers could be listening to this and they're going to rip my fucking head off if I say anything else. Love you, family. But in simple, so we're launching our token in Q1, and our token is, very similar to what you heard from A16Z on their tokens of revenue. So, we're effectively hyper liquid as a ticket company. So we do buybacks from our fees. We charge 20% to the fan, which is competitive in today's market. And we issue our token to lenders, which we buy back. So you earn KID, and you can stake it and earn USDC. And that's really our model. It's pretty straightforward and simple. And we're excited about it because, the whole narrative about revenue and the whole narrative about business fundamentals now in crypto is something that, 3 years ago when we started off was like collectibles. We're like business fundamentals, as a Web2 guy, it sucked. But now seeing how the tides are turning, I'm pretty stoked.
Okay, so are you giving me one market I can participate in, or am I participating in more nuanced markets?
Oh yeah, so there's a generalized market, which is all the venues. There's a generalized pool, but then there's EDM, there's hip hop, there's festivals, there's different pools which you can participate in, and you can actually see the impact from those venues. Like, for example, like Coachella could be in the festival cohort where you can earn a variable yield from Coachella. That's not only the kicker with KID, but it's also the perks that you get with KID. Not only as a depositor are you getting the ability to earn yield from there, but you get perks like being able to attend the festival and have access to parts of the industry that typically you wouldn't.
I'm curious how you think about scaling. Maybe, I guess, if you think about Ticketmaster, they probably have unlimited pools of capital they can go tap into if they need to sign more venues or whatever. You're obviously more limited in needing to attract, obviously institutional, but also, retail capital providers. So how do you kind of deal with the dynamics of the liquidity side and the venue signing side and the dependencies that they each have on each other?
So the cool thing about KID is we both have our app and platform as a ticketing platform, but our protocol is something that Ticketmaster can build. So effectively, not only is Ticketmaster today, which has most of their convertible notes at 4.4%, which is going to change in 2 years with interest rates, they can also tap into that liquidity and also use crypto rails to own a larger portion of their resale. As a protocol, we would make fees on every ticket issued, and we just swap the scanners. So Ticketmaster actually benefits from using something like KID and building on top of KID. Not only do they deal with all their fraud issues, which right now in the DOJ is a huge fucking issue, but they become more efficient. And more efficient means that they grow their resale revenue, which is currently being eaten up by StubHub, SeatGeek, and so on and so forth. That massive $12 billion market. So, from a scale perspective, we believe in our mission as an app to to deliver a great experience. But as a protocol, we've proven that venues are being more successful using crypto rails, which is something that's unprecedented. Now it's about saying, hey, other ticketing companies use our rails. It's viable, it works, fans get a great experience, and there's a strong business case for you. So that's how we're thinking about scale. We're not thinking about, hey, let's go kill Ticketmaster. It's really about, hey, let's build a better live event future of tomorrow, a protocol that trustlessly provides value back to the artist, the venue, and the ticketing platform in a way where value is distributed equally. That's the whole purpose of, building on chain for us, right?
Yeah, interesting. I feel like this is going to really click for people once you give them buttons to go click and places to go put their money that then unlocks all the benefits that you're talking about here. So are people able to go do this right now, or where are you in the development process?
For us, we're going to be launching this in Q1 of 2025. We're super excited to be giving a little bit of a glimpse at Breakpoint this year. But today, if you're in New York and you're buying tickets, there's a 1 in 4 chance you're buying it off a venue powered by us. And that's the real kicker here. We're already grabbing market share as an app and scaling out that very seamless user experience. And we're making artists and venues a shit ton more money, 30% more than our competitors. So today you can go grab tickets on KID in New York, LA, Seattle, and Dallas. And in 2021, you're going to be making a shit ton of money off of being able to participate in live events.
I love that you're going back in time here. 2021, 2025, 2026. If you add those together, we're good. I love it. No, dude is deep in it.
2025.
25% chance, 30% more. Those are reasonable numbers. We'd like to hear it. Ahmed, we got to leave it there with you today, man. Thank you for the more nuanced understanding of this industry that obviously spent a lot of time in. Very, very intrigued by this. And maybe next time we're in New York, Josh, we got to go out and experience some of the culture.
I learned from the best guys. I learned from Nimale. His AI courses are amazing.
Shout out to Nimale.
Shout out to Nimale.